My neighbour, who happens to be Greek, gave me the most delicious recipe for a potato and feta pie. This is such a standout. And I'm going to be using puff pastry for the top and the bottom, so we really get that flaky, buttery result. So for the potatoes, I'm using these ones. They're already washed. They're super versatile, so they're fantastic for mash. They're also great for boiling, so I'll need 4 of these potatoes. And because they're washed so well, they don't have that real earthy flavour. So into the water, and always the rule when it comes to potatoes, cold water, and we're going to bring it up to the boil. They're going to take about 10 to 15 minutes once it does come up to the boil. I want them to be just tender, and then I'll allow them to cool slightly. So I've given myself a head start over here with the pastry base. You can use a short crust if you like, but I want this to be super flaky, so I have used puff pastry on the base too, and I've blind baked it. So back to the filling, some onions, pan on a medium to high heat. I'll add some extra virgin olive oil, about a tablespoon, and I've finely sliced my onions so they can go in. And we just want to sweat these down so they become really soft. The combination of potato and the onion is just so good. And I'll let them sizzle away. Now, in true Greek style, lots of dill is used. I've also got some parsley, so we're just going to roughly chop it to start with. I want about half of this bunch. Oh, the smell of the dill is just so good. You can be quite heavy-handed with the herbs for this, so 1 large handful, and then I'll just run my knife through this a few times. So the Greeks not only love their dill, but they also like their oregano. You can use fresh, but I've always got some dried oregano on standby. The dry oregano has more potency to it, so that's why I like to use it for this. Pop that into a bowl. Sprinkle that in along with the oregano, so a good amount of that. Some eggs, so 3 eggs straight in. Very similar base to a spanakopita if you like. And you can't have a spanakopita-like pie without some feta, so we'll just crumble some feta into this. Use a really good quality feta for this recipe, you will taste the difference. And for a really creamy result, the addition of some ricotta, a few spoonfuls. Oh, look at that. Oh, let's put the whole lot in. And use the back of your spoon just to really mix everything together. So we just need to wait for these onions to completely cook and just cool slightly. And then we'll also wait for our potatoes to cook. Once they're done, we can bring this whole filling together. Okay, the spuds are cooked and they've cooled down, and our onion is cooked too. So we're going to add the cooled onion to our feta mixture. And you can see that I did slice them. I don't want little pieces of onion. I want the texture of the onion. We'll fold that through. And for our potatoes, just roughly slice them. And it's okay if they break up. I like the skin still on them, and they're going to go into our mixture. So the amount of potatoes will really depend on how big your tart tin is going to be. So for this size, I'll need about 3 of these potatoes. And fold everything together. This in itself, just so yummy. I need to season this with a little more salt, but because the feta is salty, it doesn't need too much. Love that. Okay, let's fill our pie. So bring our puff pastry over and we'll pour this yummy mixture into it. And you don't need this to be completely even. You kind of want a little mound of the potato. So really fill that cavity of the pastry and just use the back of your spoon to spread it out so it's quite even. It's looking good. Another egg, this is for the egg wash for the top, and also so our puff pastry can stick to the other piece of puff pastry. Just a little fork to combine that. Just brush the sides of the tart with our egg wash, and this is going to act like the glue for the next piece of raw puff pastry. So get every little spot there because we don't want it to come undone. And the next piece of puff pastry, I have rolled it out so it can cover it and there's some overhang. And the reason I do this is so when I take it out of the oven, we get a nice clean edge. So take the plastic off. I also have a nice big fork here, and then just use that just to press and stick the two pieces together. See how that's laminating? That's what we're after. So all the way around. Okay, now we do have some leftover egg wash, so just brush that quite evenly over the top. It's looking good. And this is good enough as is, but if you do have some nigella seeds on standby, use them. They're such a fantastic addition. So sprinkle them on. Again, that egg wash is going to act like the glue for the nigella seeds. Always reminds me of Turkish bread because that's what they use on top of it. And finally, I'll just grab myself a small knife and tidy up the edges. So just cut around, and now this goes into the oven. So I'm going to cook this in quite a hot oven, 190 to 200 degrees, and it's going to cook for about 35 minutes or until it's golden and quite puffy. Potato pie is out of the oven. Doesn't it look great? Particularly with those nigella seeds on the top. And I'll take it out of the tart tin. These flexi ones are so good because it's just so easy to demold. And we'll just take it off the base. Oh, so easy. And have a listen to this. Oh, gee, I love that sound. I'm gonna cut a nice generous wedge of this. And you can serve this with a little Greek salad if you like. I've just got a simple watercress salad with some lemon and some oil. Have a look at that. It's like the ultimate pie right there, and I can smell that dill that we added. Pop that there. And that is an absolute treat. I think my neighbour Effie would be so happy that I'm sharing her famous potato pie with you. Enjoy.